This was the first public hearings that we've had into the impeachment inquiry into President Donald Trump, and we heard from two seasoned, longtime American diplomats who were talking about, from their perspective, what they saw in terms of Trump's dealings with Ukraine and the overall policy of the Trump administration toward Ukraine. What we learned in these hearings is that there was confusion, there was uncertainty, oftentimes about what the posture of the U.S. Relationship with Ukraine was under Donald Trump, and a lot of questions about whether a package of military aid that Congress had approved for Ukraine was being held up so that Trump could get the Ukrainians to launch an investigation into Joe Biden, who is one of the frontrunners for the Democratic nomination, and the Democratic National Committee. The Democratic strategy is to really put the Trump White House's relationship with Ukraine under a magnifying glass and look at it through the prism of people who are non-political, who are not opponents of President Trump or supporters of President Trump, are just career diplomats who sort of know how the process is supposed to work and looked at this situation and said, hey, there's something wrong here, there's something going on here. Republicans say that this is a complete political charade, that this is simply about trying to undermine the Trump presidency, get him out of office, invalidate the last election, and that Democrats are just grasping at anything they can to make that happen. And they try to portray the situation with Ukraine as essentially above board. There was one new wrinkle, one new piece of information from Bill Taylor. He says that he has learned in recent days that a staff member of his overheard a conversation between President Trump and another diplomat, Gordon Sondland, in which Trump could be heard on the phone asking about the investigations. So the strategy from the White House is essentially to have the president out there at the forefront of it, defending his actions, calling this a political charade, urging, his supporters to see this as just a witch hunt. There's not much in terms of, real organization that's happening, but they actually feel like they're being pretty successful with that strategy of having the president just out there defending his actions and encouraging his supporters to do the same.